And now I should be live. All right. Hey, good morning. We find that music. All right. Hey, we're going to have a quick conversation this morning about the 7 steps of how to reclaim your authenticity, how to undo shame. And it's a big thing. It's not something that's going to go away simply because you know the 7 steps. These are 7 steps, not the 7 steps. I'm sure there's other ways. These are ones that have worked for me. So, good morning. My name is Sean Murphy. I'm a international best-selling author. I'm an R&B #1 artist. That one takes a little bit of storytelling to tell you the rest of the story. I'm a 6-time #1 best-selling author, internationally best-selling author. I'm the father of mental toughness training for the brain, creator of the Nest Project, on the Self-Talk Institute faculty for the last decade, maybe. So I've been around the brain and the body connection. And this idea of shame, most people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to touch it. We wind up with asking for scripts or doing things. We beat ourselves up about it. We say, well, I'm not good enough, or I should know that, or I've got to work harder. And we try to rewrite it by simply imagine having a Sharpie and you write on a clean sheet of paper. And then you want to undo that writing and you keep writing with the Sharpie. Eventually, it turns into this blob. You don't even know what it is. And for most people, that's what their shame is inside of them. So I wanted to give you this little insight into the word reclaim. So you could write that down. It's an acronym I'm going to be using. And the goal of today's session, it's simple. It's to help give you this framework, to give you this fundamental strategy for you to pay attention to some things. I chose 7 steps because true change happens in phases. It doesn't happen overnight, right? We have a garden out here on the ranch. We planted some seeds and some we planted plants we bought, and they didn't turn into these monster plants that are growing now with fruit on them overnight. It happened as a process. So why talk about shame? Well, shame impacts us emotionally, it impacts us mentally, it impacts us physically, relationally, and it would help us, I believe, if we had a holistic process to begin the reset. Now, I do other trainings, 2-day trainings on the same 7 steps, the same word, reclaim, turn it into a 2-day training. There's a lot of depth to this. So understand this teaser conversation allows us to move through recognition, release, empowerment, instead of just trying to say, think positive or let it go, or in some worlds, to overcome shame, you're told, go for no, break the habit, go deal with the challenges. You're going to get a lot of no's, go for no's. You can't get a yes till you get a bunch of no's, right? So I think there's probably some more profitable ways to go build a business, to go build your legacy than inflicting emotional discomfort. So I chose the word reclaim because shame causes us to feel disconnected from ourselves. And as we move through the process, as you begin to review the content and think about it a little bit more with focus and less judgment and just simple reality of truth, we're literally reclaiming our sense of worth, reclaiming our identity, and reclaiming our agency, our ability to do what we were sent here to do. You're not fixing yourself, you're returning to wholeness. I want you to really, that's a theme that goes throughout this entire educational process of undoing and rewiring shame. You're not fixing yourself. You are not fixing yourself. You are returning to your wholeness. One of the things that, if you've been around me for a while, you've heard me tell the story, my interpretation of somebody interviewing Michelangelo, asking him how he made the amazing, one of the most profound pieces of art that's ever existed, the statue of David. And I have this vision of the reporter walking up to Michelangelo in Italy, right? Michelangelo, right? Little Italian accent, little humor in your morning. Michelangelo, I got a question for you. How are you making a statue, David? And Michelangelo looks almost bewildered because it makes so much sense to him, yet nobody knows how he did it. He said it very simple. He said, I chip away everything not a David. Think about that. That statue exists because everything that was not the statue of David was chipped away, correct? Allow that to resonate in your brilliant brain. Everything that was not David was chipped away, was carved away, was polished away. And what was left was already inside the marble. The wholeness of the statue of David already existed in the marble. You following me? That already exists in you as well. You are not fixing yourself. You are returning to your wholeness. So the purpose of this reset is to help reset this relationship with your shame. Not eliminate it, because all humans, not 98%, not 20%, not you think you're in the 1% that doesn't experience shame. All humans, well, maybe if you're not human, you might not experience it. All humans experience it. The desired outcome, my goal is that you leave here with some practical, basic, fundamental tools to interpret the shame signal when it happens and begin moving towards self-compassion and some action. Okay, so here they are. If you write down the word reclaim, you don't have to write them all down. It's a very short word. The first letter is R, reclaim. The word I'm using it for is recognize. If you've ever been around an addict, maybe you have some things you're still recovering from. If you've ever been around an addict who said, I can handle it, I don't have any problem, while they're stumbling. I have 2 people in my family that had that condition of stumbling from alcohol, and telling you right to your face, I don't have a drinking problem. We're told as the codependents, that's the title they give us, we're told as the family members that you really can't help them until they hit bottom. Which translates to you really can't help them till they recognize that a problem exists. And if you're delaying your success, if you are wanting to get things perfect, if you are walking around saying, I'm not good enough, I should know this, when's it going to be my chance, I never get a break, that's shame, ladies and gentlemen. You can't shift what you can't see. The first step is to simply notice when shame is present. It is so rampant. It is so a part of our core that we don't even know half the time it shows up. And the key is to pay extreme attention to the physical sensations. As a neuroencoding specialist, meaning we have thoughts that trigger sensations in our body, right? If I were to say the word, I know it's early morning, if I were to say the word lovemaking, wait, what? If I were to say the word sunning at the beach, if I were to say the word skydiving, your body has a response to that. That's called neuroencoding. We had a thought that got encoded into our body. Here's the challenge about shame. It was encoded into your body before you could speak, before you could defend yourself against it, before you knew your name. Your frequency coding, your operating system was coded in your body. So pay attention to the physical sense. If you've ever gotten and I say an embarrassed face, a red face, a flushed face, that's shame. Oh, you're embarrassed. We say it on a nice way, in a kind way, embarrassed, which makes us more embarrassed, which makes us feel more shame. If you've ever had thoughts that I'm not good or behaviors of hiding or perfectionism, this is just simply recognizing. So you can now say, ooh, that's shame. The awareness dissolves unconscious power. And what I mean by that is that when you become aware of it, when you name it, one of the things that, oh my goodness, he's the FBI negotiator, hostage negotiator that now has books, How to Not Negotiate Anything, How to Negotiate Everything and Never Lose. His name, it'll come to me in a second. In this negotiation, one of the things he talks about is naming the emotions. Until we name emotions, they are as big as the universe, right? So understanding that awareness begins to dissolve shame's unconscious power. So that's R. That's a very basic understanding of R. So let's go to the E. Explore. Once you recognize, get curious. One of the things I offer people who are in my world, in my organization, in my community, in my dialogue group, people I get to share with on a regular basis, people have a tendency to say, I don't know a lot. I don't know. What do you want to do with it? I don't know. And I offer them a solution, an opportunity to change the way they investigate themselves, explore their possibilities. I offer them the solution by asking them to say, when you want to say, I don't know, does that empower you? I don't know. Does that give you an open window to know, to absolutely have a potential to find the answer? It doesn't. And so we say that so often. We have no right to limit our own personal ability to explore our potential. Do you see how we get wired in? Do you see how this got wired in before you knew? You probably weren't even aware of the consequences of saying, I don't know. I bet there's a lot of you who, when offered the chance at an awareness, the answer that comes up of I don't know is wired in you to keep you stuck. Doesn't I don't know keep you stuck? So what if you began to explore the possibilities? What I offer people is, I'm curious to find a solution. I'm curious what solution the universe has available for me. That takes away the I don't know feeling. So once you've recognized shame, the challenge is you're going to see it a lot. In the beginning, I'll share another story. When I was living in Puerto Rico, I lived in Puerto Rico, had a industrial business operation and sales operation there. I sold to the pharmaceuticals and the power plants and the chemical companies, had an office of, I think there were 6 people that we had on the team down there. I wanted to learn Spanish. So I would turn on the radio, and I would turn on the AM radio, the morning radio, right? An AM isn't for morning, but that's when most people listen to the AM radio. And it's always talk radio. So I found a talk station, which sounded like a talk station because I didn't speak Spanish. I said, well, I know on English or American stations, English stations, when you hear talk radio, they say the time like every 2 or 3 times a minute, almost at the break of every sentence, right? So I said, well, I'll listen to this radio station, and I'll listen because I know how to tell time in Spanish. I don't know much more. But I could definitely go, 8:25, 8:20, 8:30, right? I knew time. I knew numbers. And I listened to this thing for a week and I'm like, they say the time like once an hour. This is ridiculous. Who would listen to this? And this is the radio station I asked people if I wanted to go learn to catch time spoken on the radio. Where you want to go to Radio Reloj? Radio what? They never said the time. Oh, they said the time. They said the time sometimes 2 or 3 times a minute. Radio watch. It was like listening to a watch almost every second. It's 8:25, la hora es 8:25, 8:26, right? And they would say it all the time. I couldn't hear it. I didn't know how to listen for their version of the time. I say when you explore, when you recognize and then begin to explore, you are going to realize how much more often shame appears in your world than you ever thought possible. So what is shame? What is this thing that's popping up? Is it an old story? By the way, FYI, it's not an old story if you're running it today. See, that's another lie we tell ourselves. Oh, I had some trauma when I was younger. That's one of my old stories I need to correct. It's not an old story if you're living it today. Think about that for a second. Think about that. It's not an old story if you ran it today. You keep beating yourself up, telling yourself it's an old story. It's a new story. You have to recognize and explore, why do I still tell this old story and make it a present one today? So is it an old story? Is it a cultural message? Is it a family belief? What is behind this shame? Where did this come from? What was its genesis? Is it a one-time experience that shaped your identity? We call that long expression trauma, right? Then journal it, explore it, journal it. Guided reflection can help. Naming the source helps you see the shame as a story, not the truth. People tell me all the time, Sean, you are such a good story maker. I can give you something and you can create a story out of thin air. Well, the reason I can do that is I've had practice. Here's what I will tell you. You are telling a story better than any training I can come up with. You are telling a story better than any book you will ever read on personal success or personal growth or magnifying your wealth, because the story you're telling is overpowering any education you get to improve who you are and how you want to improve. And it's keeping you stuck. Your story is stronger than any of the education you've received. So you tell a better story than I do. Oh, snap. So that's the E in explore. Next one is compassion. Offer yourself kindness. Isn't that fascinating? Imagine how you treat a loved one in this moment. And I mean a loved one who's broken and at their wits' end, is simply lost their way. Somebody you love, not, a lot of times with family, with close relationships, we can get kind of aggressive. I don't know about you. I know about me. So I'm only speaking from that perspective. Imagine if it was a niece or nephew that looks up to you and they were experiencing the feeling you're experiencing. Would you tell them, get over it, just grow up, get tough? Maybe, maybe not. Use affirmations of this. It makes sense. I feel this way. I understand now why I feel this way. I allowed this. I chose this unconsciously. It was of my own doing. And if it was of my own doing, I have the power to undo. All right. So why do this? Because compassion interrupts the self-criticism cycle and creates space for healing. So that's the C, compassion. If you just popped in, we're going through the anagram of reclaim, of how to reclaim your authentic self over shame, dealing with shame, which is something you have. If your body hears me talking about shame and says, "Oh, I don't care what people think. I'm not ashamed." That's like an alcoholic going, I don't have a problem. I can handle my liquor. It's exactly it. Exactly it. Right? The L in reclaim stands for let go. Consciously choose to release the unhelpful beliefs. I'm broken. I'm never enough. Use breath work. Use visualization. I teach in my Nest program. I teach in my personal undevelopment sessions how to use visualization, how to use EFT tapping, energy freedom technique. Isn't that a cool name? EFT. What does EFT stand for? Energy freedom technique. Pretty cool. Writing and burning the belief. If you've ever done that, if you've ever written down all of the things that hold you back and then lit it on fire, it's amazing the visceral and physical release that it gives you. We do live events here at the ranch, and one of the years I had people I had the ladies, typically guys are not this way, typically, not saying it's not possible, but for the most part, there's a lot of women who, when they have a breakup of a real bad relationship that ended abruptly or unexpectedly, it was a breakup, not a death, they hang on to something. They hang on to pajamas from when they used to date them, or a stuffed animal that's shoved in the closet that they just don't want to get rid of because they're still thinking about it. And even though it aggravates them and agitates them when they see it, maybe a pair of shoes. It was interesting. I said, bring the items of an old memory that you are still holding on to, and the majority of them were old relationship relics. And we brought them to the ranch and we burned them. You could literally watch the physiology of their bodies shift and change when that was finally let go. So the reason that breath work or tapping or writing or journaling or burning the old story is because you are holding on to it. It is part of your identity. So it's not simply going, I release that. There needs to be some physiology, because shame wasn't physically brought upon you. It was a story you told yourself at the time, or somebody told you how to interpret who you are at the time. Does that make sense? So that's the L. The A is align. What's true in this moment? What's true for you? What are the values that you get to align back with? When you're in shame, you're typically not experiencing your highest levels of courage. You're not expressing your deepest emotions of love. You're definitely not standing in authenticity or creativity. So when shame comes up, when this idea of I'm not enough appears, you lose access to your values. You don't lose access to them. You choose to give up those frequencies that vibrate with each of your values. So what are your values? Trust, authentic, real, valuable. When shame shows up, I'm not enough. Do you feel like you're valuable? Do you feel like you're authentic? Do you feel like you're being in love and lovable? No, shame instantly wipes out your connection to your values. So reconnect. It takes awareness. It takes facilitated introspection. It takes meditation. It takes self-talk. It takes brain talk. It takes body talk. That's why I created Nest, Neuroenergetic Self-Sculpting. How to literally become the cure for yourself. So why is this important? Take small steps, action steps, become aware of it, reflect on your true self. This is why your evidence file is literally how to overpower shame. That's why most people think about it. I would like you to create a list of 500 things you've done well. Think about it. Hang with me. If you haven't already done it and you're hearing this for the first 500 things I've done well, are you kidding? That, ladies and gentlemen, is shame. You know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I can prove to you in record time, you can easily create a list of 500 things. 500 things you've done well means you did it and you didn't fall flat on your face. You did it well. You didn't do it maybe to a Mozart symphony musical writing of an orchestral piece. You graduated first grade. You got E's in kindergarten. Do you think your parents were happy when they said, yes, you can move out of kindergarten to first grade? There's some people that said, I don't think you should go to first grade. I wasn't that kid. I don't know if I ever got held back at that age. I don't have that memory. I am not saying I could have, but it's possible. My point is that when you begin to align with your true self and you have your evidence file, it's really hard to stay in shame. This making sense? So become aware that if I were to ask you to write out 500 things you've done well, you mean like 500? Oh my God. I promise you, you probably did a half dozen of them yesterday. Yeah. And yet they were just your typical because you're looking to always outdo yourself or expand yourself. And I need to get better. I'm not good enough. If you do good things and the filter running through your life is I'm not good enough, even the good things, do you think you could see them as good things? So this is again about recognize, become aware, let go of the old story that that's not a good thing. That was a good thing. Do you ever help somebody move? That's a good thing. Do you ever tow somebody out of a ditch? That's a good thing. Do you ever pick up somebody's mail? That's a good thing. You ever pick up somebody says, hey, could you pick me up some milk at the store? That's a good thing. Those are evidence files that you can live your authentic self. Follow me? So that was the A, align. Why? Living from alignment builds trust with yourself. Then there's the I, stands for integrate. Shame is not a once and done. Fixing shame is not a one-night stand. It is a romantic relationship you will have from now until forever. And I say romantic relationship, not a fighting, kicking, and screaming, because that's where most people are wired. That's what shame, this frequency, this version of you that is not you, the listener right now. If there's a part of you that's feeling a little tight, a little tense, do you feel any energy flowing in your body? Ask yourself, is that awareness of possibility, or is that shame trying to sneak in and step in front, become the barrier? Is it the fuel or the wet blanket? So integration allows you to begin to practice these new narratives daily. It is, listen, think of how old you are. Think of how old you are. And if science has taught us that we have about 60 to 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day, just say you got 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot. And you've had that every day, a lot more as a child, because you're in this fight or flight mode most of the time. Ooh, what's that sound? Ooh, what's that noise? Ooh, what's that person? Ooh, what's that shadow, right? You're building a series of networks, neural networks in your brain on how to survive your environment. You can't speak it, you can't taste it, touch it, feel it, and have awareness, but you are tasting it, touching it, and feeling it. So your brain is in overdrive mode on how do I stay alive? Not how do I thrive? How do I become an international bestseller? How do I build a network marketing business? Or how do I build a side gig? Or how do I create relationships where I fall in love easily and that person easily falls in love with me? You and them were started off in survival mode. You started off as the wild tiger, not letting anybody come near you. Your brain did. So now all of a sudden you're like, man, I know there's more to me. I really want to have more, become more, do more. I want to see the world. I want to create more income. I want to become more valuable to the world. And shame kicks in and says, you are so nuts, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. There's no way. You have no training. Oh, I can learn. You can't learn. Look at your grades in school. They were good, not good enough for that, right? So shame is constantly there, nipping like that little fascinating dog that never shuts up, right? Thinks it's 10 foot tall and it's this killer, right? That's shame. And you have become so numb to it, you're not even aware of it. So as we become aware, as we start alignment, then the hard part is the integration. The hard part is the integration. And the reason it's hard is because we have to give up the old identity. If we have our intention in place and we say, I choose my new version, it's not hard at all. You'll be surprised how fast you can quantum leap. That's what a quantum leap is, when you go from point A to point C without crossing B. The challenge in most people's life is they start off at A and they go 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.1.1, 8.1.2, 8.1, and they never really get off of A or get off of their A to get to B. And we keep comparing our A's to everybody else's C's, D's, G's, P's, M's, Q's, Z's. And shame kicks in and says, I'll never be enough. I'll never get there. And this is simply because you have to begin where you are, much like an alcoholic, much like any addict. And you got to go to rehab. And the rehab is not detox, it's burn it up. And when we burn things up, we're left with a new fragile identity. You decide today, imagine I decide today, I'm going to become aware of my shame. And you start to become aware of it and you realize, holy mackerel, this happens a lot in my day. How old is the individual who becomes aware of your shame? I'm 59 years old. How much experience do I have on becoming aware of my shame if today's the day I decide? One day. And you wind up in this duplicity of awareness. I'm 59 years old. I should know this. I'm one day old. I'm going to have some bruised knees and elbows and bumps and bruises as I bang myself through this awareness of what's been happening to me for 59 years. And today I decide, by the middle of the day, you're like, this isn't worth it. At least I know the pain I'm in. At least I know the comfort zone I'm in. And at least I know if I'm in my comfort zone, I can always tell everybody I need to get out of my comfort zone. It's a much easier story to stay in pain that I'm used to than the expansion of what I have no clue about. This is why when we set our intentions and we sit in gratitude, the integration becomes much easier. Have you ever gone on a trip and say you went to the Keys or you went to the Cayman Islands, and one of the things you wanted to do is go scuba diving? You want to go scuba dive the reef. You're not a scuba diver. There's places where they will give you some basic fundamental trainings on scuba diving. You pay for the training. Listen, the tour goes off at noon. We meet at 10 o'clock for you to get your basic underwater scuba diving certification so you can go put a regulator in your mouth and go down 15 feet. You can learn the thing if you want to learn it. You've never scuba dived before. All of a sudden that afternoon, you've scuba dived. Well, I don't think the word is scuba doved. So you can integrate this if your vision is strong enough, if your desire is clear enough, if your want is want enough. So integration means practicing new narratives, waking up differently, waking up with your clear intentions. As soon as you come out of the unconscious to the conscious world, saying, I choose my authenticity today. And it's reinforcing your self-worth. So track your wins, review your evidence files, surround yourself with supportive people. Jim Rohn said, you want to become valuable, you want to become rich, become valuable to valuable people. If you're in my world, you have a high sense of your desire to become valuable to your world. That's why you're here. How do I bring more value to my world? And I know, based on the majority of you who circle through my world, when you show up in value, you produce income. That's what you do. You are a value producer. That's what you get paid for. Value. You're not a network marketer. You get paid because you bring value to the world. You're not a business coach. You get paid because you bring value to people who want to grow their business. You're not a wellness practitioner. You are somebody who brings value to people who want health. You are a value junkie. You want value. You want to bring value. It's all you talk about. I want to serve them. I want to give them. And it's become such an addiction that you've become a people pleaser. Well, I don't want to please people. I want returns. How's that working for you? You are required to stand in the light of your value, to stand in the light of your skills, and to be rewarded for them. Too many people have amazing skills. Raise your hand if you're one of those people, and they put their light under a bushel basket. That makes my whole head itch. Yeah, I know. I get it. That's why I teach this stuff. So what happens when you begin to integrate? Rewiring the brain takes repetition and rational safety and relational safety. Rational meaning, okay, it's okay for me to be present in this moment. If I become aware of the shame that's going on, my perfectionism or my delay or my I'm not good enough, I can relate to that. And it's rational that I become aware of this if I want to have more of what I want. If I want to excel and expand, I have to become aware of the patterns that are holding me back, right? So that's integration. Then the last letter is M, move forward. Don't wait to feel ready. Well, if I learn one more thing, if I do that, done is the new perfect. Take empowered action now. Begin where you're at. Progress, not perfection. Keep moving even when shame resurfaces. Because here's the thing, when you start to go do something, if you become aware of shame, and that will probably be more often as you dive into the awareness, because right now you don't know what you don't know. You're an unconscious incompetent. Soon you'll be an unconscious competent. You'll know what you don't know. Then you'll be a conscious incompetent. You know, but you don't know how to do it. And then you'll be a conscious competent. You'll know that you know, and you'll know how to do it. It is the 4 stages. So action builds resilience. When you start to move, feel ready, progress over perfection. When you begin to move, you begin to build resilience. And it rewrites shame, the shame script over time. Tony Robbins does something, and I do it as well. I've learned it from him and others, that he will take you and make your body do some really crazy things. When you have some of these really powerful old stories that are locked in, there's a lot to this setup, but the result is that here's the result of you saying this. So we don't need to just overwrite the program. We need to scratch it. Remember the old CDs? Some of you aren't old enough to remember what a CD is, but remember when CDs and discs, right? DVDs, and if they got scratched, you're like, oh my gosh, they got scratched, and you try to polish it up, or you actually sold machines that kind of resurfaced it so that the laser could get down to the right. So we want to scratch that old programming so it can't even run, no matter how powerful. You could put it in a $20,000 DVD. I don't know if they had them. I doubt it. Maybe they did. But if you took this disc that was scratched and put it in the world's greatest DVD player, say you went to the CERN in Switzerland and you plugged it in, and this thing was the most magnificent. It'll play any DVD. It's got incredible skills and technology built into it. You put in a scratched DVD, it ain't playing. See, we've thought we scratched our shame. No, that was us getting scratched. That was us getting beat up. That was us getting bruised. we haven't overwritten. We haven't even written over the programming because it still shows up. It's not an old story. It's a story you used this morning. So I help you through neuroencoding and physiology rewrite that. Tony Robbins has you start to say the program, but say it in a goofy voice. I'm no good no more. I'm no good no more. Now stick your fingers up your nose. I'm no good no more. And your whole body is going, this is crazy. And what you're doing is you're literally, while you're repeating the slogan, while you're repeating the phrase, in the right frame of mind, in the correct vibration, your body is going, I'm so embarrassed right now. This is so goofy. I don't even feel good doing this. And it's now linked to that old story. And when you think of the old story, it no longer has the vibrational state because you've now wired it in with your fingers up your nose or in your ear and this goofy voice and your blah, 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 right? That's rewiring. That's burning up the old story. That's scratching the disc, the recording of your shame. Does that make sense? Good Lord, I went much longer than I wanted to here. So what's one step you can from reclaim that you most need to focus on right now? Pick it. Which one? Of the 7 letters, RECLAIM, which one is the most you would want to focus on right now? How might you reclaim your worth and self-trust? So you can revisit this video. It's on YouTube. I believe it's, I put it, yep, it's on YouTube. So this isn't a one-time event. The more you practice this, the more you process this, the more it becomes a shift out of shame and back to self-compassion and empowerment. So reclaim this week. Reclaim today. Reclaim Thursday, June 5th, I think. We're closer to my birthday. Reclaim today, June 5th. Walk through these simple stages. So there you go. How'd that feel? Take a big breath, stretch, feel your body expand, yawn maybe. Oh, say I'm worthy of my authenticity. What'd you learn? What'd you like? What's your takeaways from that? What'd you feel? What'd you hear? Check YouTube. Good morning, AJ.
Hey, just quickly up topic. Good work today. Very good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
2 things. Firstly, is it the 12th or the 13th in your birthday? I can't remember what it is. It's June 12th.
18th.
18th. I forgot.
So you got
Anything
some more
like
day.
that.
You got some more days. You can get a bigger present now. You got more time.
Yes, sir. I was just thinking about that actually. And secondly, I did do the thing you told me to.
Good. Yes, I
Uh,
saw the email this morning. I didn't dare look at the pictures as my first wake up call.
Listen, I was just about to say it is PG 88, not 18. So
Right.
if you had breakfast already, then you can probably take a look at that. If not,
Right.
don't. That's it. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna
You're
put that on
welcome.
my
So what'd you learn?
schedule.
What'd you like from today? Good stuff. Great. Good stuff is good stuff. That's like, yeah, whatever.
You mocked my WDW acronym for my journal, and all of a sudden we have 2 calls, the back by back, back to back, on addiction to approval and now reclaim. Some interesting stuff, man. I would
And
definitely
isn't it
say,
interesting how sitting in a garden, you start to see all of the weeds? Imagine if you listen, when the plants were little out back here, the wind had knocked over the little planting things where we had the seeds growing and it knocked all of the little tags out of it. So when it popped up, we didn't know it was little green things. So we planted them. We said, we'll know what it is when it gets older. The challenge is when it's in a garden that has a potential for weeds and grass to grow, because this is only the second season we've had it. We're like, is that a weed or is that the plant? So you could sit in the garden all day long. If we don't understand the maturity of the thing we're seeking, it all looks the same. Today's day one. You're looking at seeds and weeds and plants, and it could be, oh my gosh, I love eggplant. But it also looks like a dandelion when it's a baby. I say that to say, every one of you who are listening to this, even if you're listening to the recording, if you're listening to the recording, this is the second time you're becoming aware. Not 59 years of awareness. It's the second time. You got 59 years of old story versus I'm now aware of how often shame shows up in my life twice. It's daunting. It's overwhelming. So as we become more aware and as we begin to set our intentions, you begin to have the courage and the ability to sit in the garden and go, okay, no, that's a weed. Now, there's people I could bring to my garden who are horticulturists. They've been studying it. They go, no, that's a weed. That's a weed. That's a weed. That's a plant. Like, how can you tell? It's green, it's little, it's tiny, and it looks the same. Oh, no, there's wild differences. People ask me all the time, how can you tell your sheep apart? I mean, yes, they're different colors, but how do you really? You can tell them all. Yes, I can almost tell them apart now. I can tell the babies apart from their little bay. Bah, bah. Axel, it seems like he's always lost. And I hear him more often. He seems to be always lost, and he's always in a corner somewhere looking at the fence, and everybody's on the outside because he doesn't want to go out. He wants to take the shortcut. And so he just goes, Mom, 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 Mom. And Mom's like, grow up, kid. Anyway, so what'd you learn? What'd you like?
I definitely think the primal thing for me is to let go because I've learned better now to say that I'm becoming more and more aware of the fact that I do have at this present time, as I'm speaking with all of y'all, I do have what's necessary. I do have what's required within. And it's funny how the things that I also have within are preventing the other things that I also have within to kind of work their magic. And I just want to, chip away everything that's not serving the purpose. That's what I learned. And what I love is here's a quick story for you. What I love is how it all works out. And the reason I say that is because I told you the other day I started with this experiment that I heard from Brian Tracy. It was about expecting the best and going out there every day into the world and saying that I believe that something wonderful is going to happen today. And then the other night when I journaled, I said, okay, you know what? I've been doing this for a couple days. Let me sit down and count exactly what happened since I started, with this experiment. And I noticed that there was all these small things, and when they ended up stacking, I realized that every single day something good happens, and you have a choice to either focus on that and grow and feel better immensely from day to day, versus sure, it's hot right now. It's like literally this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, it was like 85 degrees. 9 o'clock in the morning this morning. It's crazy. But then I realized that I sent the message to my landlord the other day. Actually, it was yesterday. And uh, I told him, hey, listen, this apartment doesn't have AC, right? I did not think about that when I moved in back in March because I didn't need it, but it's kind of getting it's really getting bloody out there. And she said to me, you wouldn't believe, but I was talking to my husband the other day, and we're just thinking about you, and we're just thinking about calling you and setting up everything. And I said, well, I'm going to be in here for the long term. That's what we agreed on, right? And I want to make sure to understand that we should either put the whole kind of AC in place, or should I get one of those small portable ACs if you guys are not up to for it? And she said, no, no, listen, it's our place. We're going to take care of it. You have a $500 budget, which is for comparison in Serbia. That's like exactly what you need. And I was like, okay. So I call up a guy. I call my dad. He refers me to a guy. It's June. It is, I believe it's the same situation in the States. If you're looking to do
Everybody's
something regarding,
busy.
yeah, if you're looking to do something regarding AC in June, July, August, you're fried. I mean, done, right? call up the guy. He's like, sure, I can do that tomorrow. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, awesome. And then, a multitude of other things as well that happened. For example, what you told me yesterday regarding the guy, just beyond my imagination, right? Just all these things stack up, and when you choose to focus on them, it's great, And I had a lot of fun and a lot of giggles when journaling about that, because I would be in my journal and I would finish an entry, and then again something good would happen. I would become aware of it in regards to the experiment, and then I would just be like, "P.S. This happened," and then 2 hours later, "P.S. Another thing happened." 2 hours later, P.S. Another, and then my entry, becomes like 3 pages long all of a sudden, and it's just great, man. It's awesome. So
And those are huge things. Yes, it's very simple. Oh my gosh, I called the guy and it was available. That's how it's supposed to be.
yeah, call the guy in the middle of the season. They call it the season.
Right. It's absolutely. And everybody's air conditioning is breaking down, and because it's the beginning of the season and everybody needs to do this, and they're putting it to the max, and the hotter it gets, the more it runs, the more stress is put on the thing, and you're in constant repair and constant fix and constant blah blah blah. It's like, oh, I could do it tomorrow. Oh, cool. That's what I thought. That's what I felt. I would love it to be done tomorrow. How awesome is that? And this is where, so here's my question. Two things to be able, so here's the key where most people experience this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to offer AJ a chance to rewire it and set it in his own nervous system, because in order for the guy to be available, do you realize the 3 people that needed to cancel their orders so he could become available? Where this guy thought he lost business, and AJ called him up and said, oh, I could fill that gap for you. Would it be okay if I filled the gap for you whenever you have a gap? The next time you have a gap in your work, call me. I will pay you to fill that gap. And the guy was sitting there fretting, going, I got no work for tomorrow. What am I going to do for tomorrow? AJ calls him and he says, yeah, I can do it tomorrow. What a blessing you are to him. Do you see that you are a blessing to him? Yes, we take the blessing. You have to realize the universe gives you a chance to become the blessing to others. You want people to not cry. That guy, I'd find out if that guy has kids.
He doesn't, but my old man did tell me that his background is harsh. I mean, he was up
So,
there.
so he gets beat up all the time, and now all of a sudden you're the guy that comes along and goes, I don't know what in June, there's no, do you think shame showed up when he says, I'm in June and I got no work for tomorrow? Are you kidding me? How much do I suck as a business? Why isn't anybody using me? How could I not have this filled? I had it booked. 3 people canceled their orders tomorrow. And you become this blessing. You become the miracle in his life simply because you want to have AC. Do you realize how the universe works? We call it under the hood. Under the hood, you didn't see all of the things that happened in his life. I would ask him when you see him, if tomorrow's the day he starts to put in, say, hey, how did tomorrow become free? Oh, you wouldn't believe it. People canceled this out of the other. I was getting frustrated. It was when did you call him? Morning or afternoon yesterday?
I called him just this morning, like 3 hours ago when I
So you
woke up.
called him this morning.
Yeah.
So ask him, how did Friday become a free day for you? How did you have an opening to put me in? Oh, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. That's that's the universe. You called your landlord, they said you got a $500 budget. What? We were just thinking about you. How long ago were they thinking about you before you professed your desire to them?
She said it was maybe 2 or 3 days, something like that.
And you were starting to think about it. You were starting to get hot, man. I wonder if it's going to, I really should have picked air conditioning. So you started the ball rolling. This is how we influence our world. Nobody in my world was thinking about you and AC, but everybody in your world who was key, who could respond. Do you think they feel good that they get to give you AC? The landlords?
I think they actually kind of like me because I like
They
them as well.
like you. They love you.
They're really good folks, actually.
Yeah. And so people are a reflection of who we are. You're a good kid. You're a good egg. You're not a pain in the neck. You probably pay your rent on time. They never have to ask you.
I paid 6 months up front, so
Oh, you're really a good friend.
Yeah.
So my point is that you have established a way for all of these good things to flow. We have to open the gates. Doesn't require a 6 month in advance payment of your rent, but it does require that you use the 6 months of your life that you've already spent and already poured into the universe. Allow it to come back to you. All of you have prepaid your life. You've prepaid your tomorrow with what? Today. You've all prepaid. The challenge is when tomorrow shows up, you go, I don't like this. I got to do it over. I didn't pay enough. Okay, tell me how that's working out for you.
Oh, BT Dubs, two
Yep.
things. I ordered some skincare products that one of my well, we have an interesting relationship. She's kind of my office crush, right? And we have this thing going on. She bakes pancakes for me or whatever. And she proposed to me to get some skincare products for the face. I was like, okay. So I buy the thing. They called me up yesterday. I'm not at home, right? They come back today again, and I realized when I opened the package that it's apparently the beauty parlors. Do they even call it the beauty parlor anymore?
Salon.
I maybe watch too much Denzel Washington. Anyway, uh, the beauty parlor people, they put some additional products in the basket because apparently they're having the shop's anniversary,
Right.
and they treat everybody who spends like over $50 or whatever, and they put like additional two products in there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, well, what's this, right? So I look at it, it's like a cream or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
for healing scars, probably.
Smells pretty good, so I'm thinking about maybe doing it or not because it smells very good for a man to do that. Because as a man, you obviously need to wash your face with the same uh, thing that you're washing your car tires with because you're a
Right.
man.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Be a
Honorable
man, right?
degreaser.
Be a man, man. Use the same towel that you wash your car with to wash your face. I mean, be a man.
That's right.
Anyway,
Exactly. I don't
and
want to have
then
to wash another towel.
exactly. And then another conversation I had with this girl Anna, that's my office crush, and we have this thing going on. Um, he talked to me the other night. So me and Big Mitch were talking about some business and whatnot, and she said, "You know what?" I said, "What?" She goes, "You are the weirdest person I've ever met." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "You are on one side, you're very charming, you are helpful. On the other
I,
hand, you are the most pretentious bastard I ever met." And I'm like, "Okay." And she goes, "You're very arrogant, you're very full of yourself and whatnot." And then she goes, "But when someone needs help in the office, somebody needs a second voice or somebody needs, some help to close a lead or whatever, you're out there, you're helping people, giving lessons, you're doing all this work, you're, talking to people about money, about sales, about, you're giving advice across the board, you know. But then again, you're so arrogant, you're so charming, you're the weirdest person I've ever met." And I go, "Well, thank you, because that's awesome, right?" And then I started thinking about, and then she hit me with a question, and I want to forward the question to you because the question is great. She said, "Do you really think so great about yourself?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, and this is the question that I really thought about for multiple days. She goes, "Well, where do you draw the line in the sand between being outright delusional and actually making those beliefs work for you?" I stood there and I was like, wow, this is a really good question. And the answer I could come up with on the spot was, well, I kind of look at that through results. You know, if you have results, if if you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, right? So sure, I talk a lot. I definitely talk my talk, right? But then again, I walk my walk. And she goes, "Oh, okay, so that's how it works." And I said, "Yeah." That was a really interesting conversation, really interesting question when I think about it.
so the
Where
line
do
is,
you?
so the line is that I stay on this side of is what I believe about me and what you believe about me. That's the line.
Oh,
I'm only arrogant in your eyes because you're not arrogant. If you talk to my mentor, who, if you sat here, you thought he was a sage guru, really thinks a lot about himself. I'm learning how to be in the frequency without the voice. He's in the frequency without the voice. He walks into a room, he doesn't have to say anything. He smiles, he greets everybody. You'd swear he either owns the place or is the janitor and he's here to fix things. You have no clue that he's the guy that's the guy. It's just his frequency. You're not intimidated by him, but you're in awe of him. And that's so whoever Petra is, right? I call her Petra. All of your girlfriends are called Petra. So Petra calls it arrogant because she doesn't know how to define it. Arrogance is that's a frequency that's above me. I'm not good enough to maintain that frequency. This is the one who makes you pancakes?
She did make me a pancakes on
Okay.
my birthday last week.
So watch this. So imagine this. Say, well, you're arrogant. What are you talking about? You made me pancakes. Do you know you're the only one that made me pancakes? You know how arrogant that is for you to be the only one who has so much belief that you think I'll love the pancakes? Oh, by the way, I did. But that's a form of arrogance. You called it caring, sharing, and making pancakes. I can call that arrogant because you're good at making pancakes. It was effortless for you. I'm good at making money. It's effortless for me. You call it arrogant because you're not good at it yet. Is it okay if we work together to help you get better at it? The line in the sand is what you believe in me and what I believe in me. And I do my best to not cross into what you believe in me.
The way the conversation ended was even more interesting because I told her, well, now I'm a partner at this establishment at the lake. And I want you because I really love the way she makes dessert overall,
Right.
pancakes and other kind of muffins and whatnot. And I said, you know what? Could you compile a list of up to 3 to 5, up to 5 best desserts you can make, name your price, make them look presentable, make them look good, make them taste even better, and I want you to sell that to the restaurant that I'm a partner with. And she goes, oh. And I said, yeah, I want to do that. I want to help you. I want to make sure I help those people as well. And she said, well, this is the part of you that's charming, you bastard. And I said, likes to be you, Skippy.
The question is how can you be both the front of the penny and the back of the penny? How can you be the front of the coin and the back of the coin at the same time? The reason you're charming and arrogant is because it's who you are. They decide which side of the coin they're looking at. You're not arrogant. It's the coin. That's the side of the coin they flip to. Here's a question. The glass you just picked up, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. The glass we just all saw him drink from. How is it both full and empty? Right now, it's full. It's full and empty. It's 3/4 full, half full, and a half. Not even the inside the glass. See, there's a part of the glass that's 100% empty. Follow me on this. This is going to hurt your brain a little bit. Might be a little too early. It's good news. It's like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock over in Serbia. The outside of the glass is empty. The glass is holding nothing on its outside. The glass is holding whatever you put in it on the inside. That's us. See, we can think it's water, but there's some days it's just straight vodka.
I was just about to say, could be vodka.
Could be vodka. And you wouldn't know it. Right? Because he could drink it, the vodka, the same way you drink water, full mouthfuls, not sipping it. You'd be like, he's sipping that. I don't think that's water, right? We make assumptions. But the outside of the glass is completely empty. It requires us to determine what's on the inside. So you have filled yourself with arrogance. Well, you were arrogant. You're still arrogant, but they haven't been able to see the definition of it or the fine tuning of it. It's called awareness. It's called leadership. So
it's really interesting because I had multiple people, and it's so weird because they use exactly the same wording. I had multiple people from various backgrounds, so people from my office, people from various areas of my life that are not connected in between, seemingly, tell me in exact same words that they see me living in this imaginary world of my own. Now, the first person that told me that a couple of weeks ago, I told you how that ended. It wasn't good.
right.
What wasn't really a good conversation because my ego took over and so on. But these two people that told me that the other day, after I had the conversation with you where you said that it is not my bubble, it's my world with my rules in it. I told them this, and they were looking at me like I just split the sea, like I was Moses. I mean, they were looking at me crazy, right? And I said that's just the way I choose to do stuff. And I would strongly encourage you to try that for a couple of days and let me know how that works out for you. And they were like, "Oh, okay." So I did what you told me instead of arguing or having my ego take over. I invited them. So that's the rule of my world, just as you said, for yours, you have your own rules, right? The world of my the rule of my world is that I extend an invitation. Everybody, every single person is going to be warmly welcome to the bus. You can get on the bus if you want to. If you don't want to, I'm afraid we're gonna talk about, right? If you do want to, sure, be my guest. And I gotta say thank you because it's really made interactions effortless, man. Before I would get frustrated if somebody is just thick, right? If I meet a person they're so thick, I would just get so frustrated. I would get so angry at myself, at them, at the whole situation. I've just And nowadays, ever since you told me about changing the way I look at things, WDW, right? Not to look at my world as a bubble, but to look at it as simply my world with my own rules on it. And you are most welcome to get on the bus if you want to. If you don't want to, we got nothing to talk about. It's just, I mean, interactions are effortless, man. Like, come on board, man. If you want to, here's an invitation in cursive writing and gold kind of envelope. You get the invitation, you get the VIP treatment. If you don't want to come on board, wish you all the best. See you around the block. That's it. So I just want to thank you for that. That was a huge shift for me.
Well, the reason that it's so effortless is because one of the keys to us building a community is to help the person we just were. That's the only person you can help is the person you just were. And too many people are afraid to look at who they just were to help those people. So you want to talk about thick?
Yeah. Go back to April 23rd, 2020, and you're gonna see how thick a person can be.
You see thick. You want to talk about thick and arrogant? Holy mackerel. Thicker
Yes,
than
sir.
thick. Thick
Yes,
squared.
sir.
This was thick squared in two languages, English and Serbian.
Yeah,
He was double
that's
thick
crazy.
and he was thick squared in Serbian and thick squared in English. Because nobody knew English like he did in his marketplace, and he's like, I can speak to you, and you're wrong. You don't understand this, right? This is all happening below the surface, under the hood, thick squared, thick cubed, maybe even.
Oh yeah. When I told you all about what I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
and what I do and this and that and I do that and this and so on and so forth, and you
I
told me
listen.
it's all.
I knew I was lucky to speak to him, and he reminded me many times.
Yeah, yeah. You were lucky to get some of my time,
Yes, exactly,
despite
hundred
we had
percent.
like, despite the fact we had like 200 people on the call and it was like 3 hours long and whatnot. You were lucky to have me, and then
I was blessed to have him show up, and I
and then you
was.
told me, it was all BS, and luckily for you, you were 5,000 miles away. Luckily for you, because I wanted to strangle you through the computer.
Now,
That was
go
crazy.
back to that feeling. And when somebody says you're arrogant, say, man, you're probably right. There's probably still a lot of residual. Because I can tell you, the first time I had an exposure like this, like you are having to me and going, you're arrogant, the person who I now trust, who I thought was the biggest piece of shiitake that existed. There's no way, how does anybody listen to him? So I get your feeling. I said that about the person who now influences me on a regular basis. So what you're doing is setting the stage for you to potentially becoming the person that could be of influence for them. You know what I had to keep doing though? I had to keep showing up. I had to get on the bus. Because there was a time I got off the bus. Here's the neat thing. 2 years later, I showed up. He didn't say, "Oh, you owe some back wages for not riding the bus." He said, "Get on the bus." And this time I got on the bus, I got to tell you, it has changed my world. So I'm sorry that I seem odd to you, but I can tell you, I was probably 5 times more skeptical than you are now. So I get it. I get it. I seem like a nut job from outer space. All I can offer you is the ship's leaving in an hour. You want to get on?
They
So
look at me like I'm ET, man.
and that's fine. Well,
Yeah.
this is how you can be outstanding. It doesn't take much for you to become outstanding, for you to become memorable, for you to become a topic of conversation. Listen, good news, bad news, as long as somebody's talking about you, it's a good thing, right?
There's no such thing as bad publicity, man. That's right.
So now look how easy it is. All you have to say is, listen, I have decided to build my own world. You're a freak. That's all I had to do to be outstanding in the whole Serbia, is to say I am in control of my. Nobody does that here. You're a freak. Man, this is so fun. This is so easy. I don't have to learn how to speak a new language or create new art. I'm just saying, control your world, and people think I'm from outer space. This is awesome. Look how unique I get to be. At 24. I get to do this for the next 70 years. Think how good I'm going to be.
Already 24.
Yeah, I got 2 words for you.
I got 2 words for it.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff today, man. Thank you, thank you,
Isn't
thank
it
you.
cool? Isn't it cool
Yeah,
to
this
have
is
this awareness?
fascinating.
And
This fascinating.
congratulations on doing the survey, the recalibration of understanding. Oh my God, I've had so many little things that they add up to be a lot. You could listen, a drop of water can flood a house. A leaking sink dripping can flood a house. It just takes time. A broken fire hydrant can flood a house a lot faster. Too many people want to go break this thing called shame or personal development. I'm going to personally develop. On top of what? On top of a sand, mud-based foundation of instability, insecurity, and disbelief? How's that working for you? It takes time to go dig out the old, muddy, non-existent foundation. If you want to stay in the same place, if you want to go build new, that's easier. Oh, but I have all my stuff in the house. You want to know a real easy way to get rid of your stuff? Have a hurricane or a tornado destroy it. And then you'd be like, well, at least I'm alive. That's what happened to me in 2004. A hurricane came, destroyed everything we had. Insurance wouldn't pay because they said, well, 3 years later, 3 years to get a check from the insurance company. I didn't give up. There was no reason to give up. Truth was truth. Anyways, that's a whole nother wonderful story. Congratulations. This is awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we listen to Mr. Ron, he's now can put on his resume, restaurateur. Anyone else? Last thoughts, comments, questions?
Silent partner. Silent partner.
Yeah, and people wish you were more silent.
Oh yeah. Luckily, it's
By the way, did you ever ask them their why of how they felt when they got the major?
Oh shoot, I forgot to tell you. Yes, we did have a conversation afterwards, and we sat down over there on that side of the thing.
So I would
And
offer you every time you sit down, if you can sit down at that table, because it's like meditation. If you can do it in the same spot, the body doesn't have to adjust to the environment. This is just a mentoring moment. If you can mentor in the same space, same place, same energy, same frequency, then they can hear your words. Their body is not going through, what's this sound? This is a new space. How do I look this? Especially the owners, because they're going to be looking at the restaurant going, oh, I need to level that table. That's the table that's freaking uneven. While you're talking, they're seeing all of this stuff. Oh, I got to clean this. Nobody filled the salt there. Clean the. So same place, right? Because you know all of it. They've already said all this stuff. Oh my God, I need to clean the windows. You're like, I came to talk to you about. Anyways, just an aside.
Yeah, it did. And then we talked about it. So I told them, I said, before I give you the money, I need you to agree to one thing. And they said, what? And I said, forget about the interest, forget about the grace period, about this. That doesn't matter. What matters is that if you take my money, you need to play by my rules. And I only got one rule. They said, whoa, what is it? What is it? And I said, if you take my money, play by my rules. And my only rule, my number one, the only rule I got is that we share a vision I don't want to hear any talk about what's possible, what's not possible. That's not up to you to decide. That's not up to me to decide. I want to focus on the good stuff around here. And they said, sure, we can do that. And I'm saying, whoa, hold on there, John Wayne. We gotta, build some foundation first, right?
Careful what you
And
wish
they,
for.
yeah, and they said, okay. So went out there and I told them, okay, so tell me what's the vision for this place? Why do you want this place to succeed? And I know at this point, because I've done it with you numerous times, that the first couple of reasons is going to be just logic, logic, logic.
All had,
And they
yeah.
said, yeah, they said, well, we're going to retire before, and we need some money for the retirement because we didn't, blah blah blah. And I said, okay, okay, scratch that. Let's rewind. Let's do it again. And then they said, you know what? We like you because you told us that we deserve for this place to be great. Now she was holding back tears. He was definitely holding out because it's not a man thing to cry,
Right,
right? I mean,
right,
be a man, right? Hold your suffering down, shovel your suffering down there, be a man.
right.
um, but I could see that they were very glad for the conversation, and then they started saying, well, you know what? We want this place to look like this in the next 5 years, and blah blah blah. And then I hit them with what you hit me in the head a couple of times, of like a jackhammer. You told me, and I told them, I asked them actually, well, what if your 5 year goal is possible within 6 months? She looked at me like I just told her I got cancer. And she looked at me like, no, that's not possible, and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, whoa, 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 hold on there. I told you my number one rule. I don't want to hear negative talk because all I'm going to hear is blah, 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 blah. That's the only thing that's going to come out of your mouth. And he said, no, that's not possible. And I said, like I said, once again, because you call him Petrov, I said Petrov in Serbian. Uh, it's not up to you to decide what's possible and what's not possible. And he lit a cigarette. It was like a scene out of the Heat when De Niro and Al Pacino sit down together. He was like, "Oh, I see what you're saying," and I knew at that moment that he understood exactly what I said. I asked them about the 30% raise of profits. They immediately kind of punched back and they said, "Well, it's not profit already because we need to sell the meat first, and we need to sell the product." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. You have a 30% discount right now. That's it." So I did. I'm not gonna say I did all of the things you told me. I did probably a vast majority,
Sure.
and the conversation was great. And if your first one is the worst one, this was a good one. Um, and then I told him the thing about the 6 months and versus the 5 years. And I told him again, let's make this place work. I'll bring everything I can up. I'll bring out the whole arsenal. You guys just bring this. They said, what do you mean? And I said, all of the things you want to do, the success, the vision for the place, it all starts from in here. This is the interim game of success that comes in the mind. And they said, wow, I've never had a conversation like this. And I said, well, that's the new standard now. And at that moment, she really, really held out the tears. And he couldn't take it anymore. He pretended like he got a call or something. He needed to get out of the table. He needed to just like get out of the place. And he came back 5 minutes later. And he was like, "Oh, let's do some business." And I said, "Yep, here's the dough, and let's do some business here." It was a really good interaction. It was a really good practice for me as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
So understand two things. One, great practice. Two, you literally paid to have this experience. You know that, okay, if you lost the money, it's not going to change your world dramatically. You didn't do it to lose the money, but you literally paid to have this experience. So now the next question is, can you have the experience for no fee? It'll still cost you, but no fee. I have that experience every morning when I talk with you for no fee. And you see the value you can bring with no fee. We do not have to pay for our voice to be heard. In network marketing, you know how we pay to have our voice to be heard? We buy somebody's starter kit. We we people please to have our voice heard. And then when it's time for our voice to be heard, shame kicks in and we never say a damn thing. So you were given the moment because you were paying for them to listen. You stepped out of the arrangement of the agreement and they said, we've never had a conversation like this. They are now, because of the return that's required based upon the agreement, they're required to return what they've heard. Your job is to make sure they keep listening to what they heard, not what they hear. Does that make sense?
It's getting hot in here, Johnny. It's getting hot. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Do you understand the little synchronicity, the little symbolism? You have to remind them that they have to return the investment on what they heard, not what they're hearing. Because they're hearing their old story. They're hearing that's not possible. 6 months. Yeah, I think he's a little nuts. Okay, we'll listen to him. He's a good kid, but they're still talking 6 months, 5 years, 6 months. That's impossible. Oh no, it's not impossible. You want to live for 5 years? You could die tomorrow. That's compressing time. You want to talk about really compressing time? You think you got 10 more years to live, and all of a sudden, God forbid, yesterday you were in a car accident, you could be almost dead. You'll change your story pretty quick, Skippy. So it's all about the present. So your responsibility is, through your mentoring and coaching and guide them, is to offer them the chance to remember what they heard, not what they're hearing. 6 months, what new ideas? So I'd ask them today, so what new ideas popped into your head that will compress time to do this in 6 months? Geez, I don't know. We didn't think about. I'd offer you to think about it more. 6 months. End of the year. You are having a brand new January. We're having a New Year's celebration with everything completed. What's different? Tell me where you're going. Now tell me where you've been. And they could never do it in 5 years with their old story. But you sat down and said, we're opening a new book. They're still reading the old book. Your responsibility is to keep them in the new book. So tell me about January. What are we doing? Oh my God, we got to get through the holidays first. We got to get through. No. We're already through the summer. We're going to have some impact on it. I want to know what we're doing for the New Year's Eve party. Your responsibility is to create vision. Not yours, theirs. And your job is to be able to see their vision. Because if you can't see it, they sure as heck can't see theirs.
I did, because I asked him, what's your vision for the place? And he stood out and he said, you know what? It's not even about the money or my backache or whatever. I just want to walk in here and I want to see the place full. I want to see every table full, and I want to see people having fun and having a good time. And in the moment, I could really, like, I was out there. I mean, I was in his vision. In the moment, it just hit me, and I could, I don't know how to put this in words, but I was there. I was there in a place that's full, and my heart was full because they do good business. It wasn't, I couldn't think about the monetary transactional thing. I couldn't think about ROI and all this, business talk and whatnot. I could only feel the place being full and our hearts being full because the place is full.
So when was that? What day was that?
That was on Monday.
So how many times have you asked them to revisit that feeling?
This is my first time on the lake. Yeah.
I know it. I know the answer. I know the answer. I didn't even have to ask you, but I'm asking you because, ladies and gentlemen, what you are witnessing is what happens every time we sponsor somebody into our business. And when I say sponsor, whether they use our technology, they use our wellness services, they come to us for training, for teaching, or they join us in network marketing in our business model. We do not revisit the dream. First of all, we never clarify the dream. Then once we have it, we think they know it. If they haven't lived it. So my question to you is, I'm going to cause you, is it okay if I help you expand your vision of understanding just the sheer functionality of a restaurant.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Do they have a dishwasher or do they both do all hands on deck?
It's manual labor right here, buddy.
Okay, so watch this. What would happen if the restaurant was full? Wouldn't they need to hire a dishwasher? So have they started interviewing it?
No.
No. Would they have to have more plates for so that they could turn the tables?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so have they started pricing it?
Nope.
Would they need more silverware to turn the tables?
They would definitely.
Okay, so have they started pricing that out?
No, the answer, Jack.
Do they have cloth napkins or paper napkins?
They do have paper napkins.
Do they change it over to cloth napkins when it's dinner?
Nope, they don't serve dinner here.
Okay, so what's their hours of operation?
Not so for the restaurant, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. till 6 or 7 p.m. And then catering they do from early, like from breakfast time.
Okay, so they have dinner to serve 7 p.m. But is that too early in Serbia for dinner?
Yeah, in Serbia we consider dinner like 8 p.m. onwards.
Okay, so what's the time that's the average time for people to eat lunch? What's the latest that somebody will go out for lunch? That's not the oddball that goes and sits in a restaurant all
Yeah,
day.
so lunchtime in Serbia anywhere between 2 and 4 p.m.
So what would happen if they closed at 5 instead of 6?
I think they would miss out some business.
Okay, so ask them to do a report. Ask them to do a report. In the last 6 months, how much money have you made in that last hour? And then they open at 9. How much money have they made in the first hour? Just some simple questions for them, right? If you were joining me in network marketing business or you were going to mentor me, I'd say, tell me your numbers. You want me to mentor you? Tell me your numbers. I'm here mentoring you in the restaurant. Tell me your numbers, first hour, last hour. Well, we've been doing that forever. Remember, new story, new story. All I want to know is the numbers. Now, if we want to have, if his vision is to have this full, how much time has he spent preparing to have it full? Because you don't want the stress of a full restaurant and you don't have plates. People are walking out. You got a bad story. You got nobody washing the dishes. You nobody in the 5 days, 4 days, nobody is preparing for a full restaurant. Oh, we all talked about it. We felt good about it. Isn't this one? Well, that would be so awesome. Great. What have you done to prepare for it? Nothing. Not a damn thing. How's that working for you? Tell me how that's working for you. How's that working for you? Remember question number 2? Do I have your permission to make you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, well, there you go. This is just experience. This is why I'm good at what I do. I have 1,001 experiences. And now imagine saying, hey, so did you start interviewing dishwashers? Just ask them that. For what? Well, for the day the restaurant's full. The restaurant's full, isn't it? Well, not yet. Oh, I thought you wanted it full. Why not start preparing for the thing you want? You had said you wanted it, so you're lying to me? Remember question number 1? I told you the rule number 1 is you don't tell me what's not possible. When do you want the restaurant full? I'd love it tomorrow. We couldn't have it. You die tomorrow because you're not prepared for tomorrow. What day will the restaurant be full? I don't know. Then shouldn't we prepare because we're such cool people and such awesome folks that we've created this alignment and energy that it could happen any day? Would you be okay if it happened tomorrow? Yeah, but you'd kill yourself. I don't want you to die. I need you to be operating.
On Gerard Murphy, you're on something. On some big. Yeah,
But
this
see,
is
doesn't it make?
advice.
But isn't that what? So Einstein said this. Everything should be as simple as possible, not simpler. The simpler version of their vision was, I just want the whole restaurant to be full. You told us we deserve this. Great. What are you doing to make it happen? Well, I'm here slugging away, doing the same thing. We got a 30% discount. And we've had nothing good else happen. So we haven't even made the money yet. No. You got 30% in your pocket. Captain Obvious to the lobby.
Interesting process, man, because when you see them do the things that we do with you now, that's why I said I really wanted to explore this avenue, uh, for the simple reason of seeing how it really looks like and feels like when you speak to us. Because you see our situation, our challenges, so on and so forth. You see that objectively, like a third party, because you're looking at it from a distance. We oftentimes we can't see the big picture because like we're in there in the fog of war, right?
Because of shame.
Can't see, yeah, can't see the
Uh,
whole picture. And how I see it with them. And in return, then I realize that okay, well maybe I do that from time to time, all the time. And I'm like, oh, so this is how it works.
yes.
It's a great thing. It's a great experience.
And this can only be learned from experience, not writing your DMP, not saying what you promise, not doing, saying, I'm going to do that. I'm working on this. This is literally about becoming the experience. First one's worst one. Awesome. That was not a bad one. But if that's the worst one, could imagine how, right? May the best of your yesterdays be the worst of your tomorrows. Do you know what that means? There's not one thing that you've become aware of that I haven't said 1,000 times. Now, I've talked to you about strategy of how to prep in the restaurant because I speak restaurant language. And you're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And if it makes sense, guess what? What's the rest of that, Skippy? It'll make dollars. But you see how we allow them to live their dream without forcing them to become dreamers? My goal is to get you to dream and then take the actions that relate directly to your dream, because you won't take them because shame shows up. You won't take them because old story shows up. You won't take them because you got to get out of your comfort zone. When you become the experience of actually doing the thing you're supposed to do, it's a whole body experience. You having that conversation, whole body experience. And now listen, AJ, be very cognizant. We have had conversations on your particular explosive growth 50 times. Do you realize it got 50 times better every time? I don't deal in incremental conversations. I deal in I take you so far beyond where you are that you only can hear to where you want to get to. Tell me if this isn't true. When you start to dissect going, now I understand what you meant. I was 5 years out there and you're catching up because I'm not going to allow you to limit daily baby steps. I'm taking you on a journey to new galaxies that allow you to stay in this galaxy until you're ready to expand. But the information and the vibration is always there to allow the expansion, never the limitation. Because I want you to be better than me. I want you to be better than you can be. And I don't take any of the credit. That's why I offer you the chance to say, anytime you want to take that next step, you sit in your awareness, you do your journaling, you expand exponentially. I'm not even there when you're journaling, yet I'm always there. That's the key. What you want to do is you want to have them have you in their mind at all times while they're working on their mind. I want to watch him, Petrov, choke on his tongue when you say, did you hire the dishwasher yet? Because this is the novelty. This is breaking the pattern. You say, did you hire the dishwasher yet? And you can look away. You don't even look him in the eyes. You don't want to threaten him. So if I'm looking at you, I say, hey, listen, real quick, Petrov, have you run the ad for the dishwasher? And then you look back after it settles in. What are you talking about? Well, if the restaurant's full, don't we need a dishwasher? Well, yeah. Well, when do you plan on having the restaurant full? So was that just some BS you told me there, Skippy? Was that a Serbian? Oh, I want to be nice to you because you're giving me money. Remember, did you have the 3 questions with him? I'd offer you to say, hey, listen, I need to have the 3 questions with you.
That's the part that
felt uncomfortable.
Kind of got lost out there somewhere.
Go have it again today. Hey, listen, I need to do a recalibration with you. Because my goal is going to make you feel uncomfortable. So do I have your permission to help? Oh gosh, yes, 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 yes. Can I make you feel uncomfortable? Well, yeah, good. Well, because you got to say yes, because if not, I'm going to ask for my money back. So just say yes. It'll make it easier for number 3. 3 is, can I take you out of the uncomfortable feeling? Great. Here's question number 2. Did you hire the dishwasher?
I'm afraid if I ask them that, they're gonna get a stroke, man. They're gonna stroke out, man.
But think
No.
about it. Watch what happens. So the reason that we want to do novelty, and ladies and gentlemen, this is for everything in your, if people say they want a new car in your business, people say, I want to create new debt. I want to create a debt. Hey, so have you created your debt repayment program on your credit cards? No. Oh, so you weren't serious. Anything somebody wants, your responsibility as their sponsor, mentor, or friend is to remind them, did they set up the plan to go make that happen? I want to buy a house for my parents. Hey, did you go house shopping the other day? No. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. You said you wanted to buy a house for your parents. Yeah. Well, I want to buy the house they're in. Oh, so did you search mortgage rates? No. So you weren't serious. Well, I mean, when I become successful, when do you want to become successful? Well, in 5 years. Oh, so call me when you're ready. I'll talk to you in 5 years because I don't have time to waste on you getting ready. I thought we were getting started. This is the muscle you'll build. This is the muscle I've built with you. This is how you can hear me and go, oh, it's hot in here. He's a jackass, but I know he loves me and I know this is what I asked for. And I can't believe I pay for this.
Can't believe I still be showing up every day. Is it humanly possible for someone to take this much mental abuse on a daily basis for
And still
months on
like
end,
it.
man? Are you like you got some issues, buddy?
That's why
You go
you're
to
obnoxious.
therapy.
You should see what I go through every morning. I got to take it out on somebody.
Yeah,
I love it.
definitely.
Interesting experience though, right? It's a visceral understanding at a whole new level, isn't it?
It's such an expanding experience. Just intense in terms of just how many things come at you from different angles, and they're all good. That's just the crazy part.
But how simple is it to force them back into their dream? Literally, you're forcing them into their dream through a novel way that they've never experienced. So, have you run an ad for a dishwasher? What are you talking about? We got 6 people here. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you wanted the restaurant full. Now the brain recalibrates. The brain looks for 2 things. Will this kill me, or how fast can I recognize a pattern? You have forced them back into the restaurant full business. I'm not saying we need to go hire them, but you got to start interviewing so that we are prepared for in 6 months to have the best possible dishwasher. Do you want your cousin's nephew who doesn't going to do a damn thing and you got to wash the dishes and clean the tables? I'm showing you why it hasn't happened in the last 6 months. Because you haven't prepared. My job is to prepare you for your success. Are you ready? And then call 911 so that they can be there with the shocker thing.
Yeah, some CPR is going to be necessary
Yeah.
after that, I think. We actually had a part of that conversation because her son and daughter sometimes fill in.
Yeah, sure.
And I said it's difficult when you mix family with business, especially in a place like a restaurant, because just like you said, if they don't provide good, then it's all about the service. And if they don't provide good service, I mean, I'm not saying that they're gonna be slacking or whatever, but
Well,
they're
no,
just sometimes
but their offer, well, I'm not going to get fired, and if they fire me, they're not paying me anyways. I quit, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not
exactly,
tied to so they have to be tied to the story.
exactly. And the way that she's wired, she is never in a quadrillion years gonna tell them, you did this wrong or you did that wrong. She is never. He's gonna
Right.
bite their head off, but she would never do that. Never ever. But that's
So
another challenge. I
so
told him,
well, in the conversations with her, have her establish her level of protocol. What is your level of expectation, regardless of who comes in? The reason that she won't tell them anything is because they don't know what to expect from her. She won't put the expectation out. She assumes without offending them that they'll know what to do, and it's never good enough. I promise you, it is never good enough because
Yeah,
she hasn't set
because
her expectations. She doesn't want to make them feel bad. So your job is to help them set their expectations.
I did tell him that he does the kitchen part. I told so you're the king of the kitchen. You are the Gordon Ramsay of the kitchen. Nobody's gonna tell you anything about the kitchen. And I told her you are in charge of the bar. So you split the business, not 50-50. Split the business 100-100 because you were going to be 100% of the time you're going to be in the kitchen. You're going to be the king of the kitchen, no doubt about that. You're going to be over there handling the bar, and that's it. You guys don't mix in each other businesses. Two totally separate businesses, the kitchen and the bar. There has to be some, synchronicity
Right.
in between you guys in terms of she carries the order, he makes it, he puts it on the counter, she brings it to the guest. That's it. There's no no need for further conversation apart from that. And they said, you know what, that makes so much sense. And then they came back and they, still did the same thing that they did all the time. And I said, whoa, hey, hold on there. We just established that he's going to be in the. It is a working process.
So can I give you a marketing tip that you could implement today?
Yes, sir.
You want to create a wall of fame. You want anybody who's been a regular, put their name somewhere. It could be their initials, but put it in a prominent place that somebody has to ask, what's that? Oh, that's for our most amazing clients, not customers, clients. Clients are repeat, customers are one time. Those are for our kind of family clients. They come here all the time, and we just want to honor them so that they know we know who they are by putting their name on the wall. Well, how do I get my name on the wall? Oh, well, show up more often. And what'll happen is people will bring people to say, there's my name on the wall. I did that in my
That's great.
restaurant and doubled my business.
That's great because they could actually put that in here. See the wall?
Yep.
That is the south wall over there.
Yep.
So here's like, they have like a glass wall
Yep.
out here, but
Yep.
over there, that's straight up 100% wood, and it's white. So you could make a
Now,
strong distinction
the other
between
thing
a
you
board.
could do, the other thing you could do as you're trying to establish what's going to be a significant pattern. Do you know what canvases are? Little canvases that you paint on?
Yep.
Do you have an arts and crafts store somewhere in the country of Serbia?
Well, we're gonna make something work probably.
Okay, so if you wind up with a little 12 by 12 canvas, little small, you can hang them in different places. They become art inside of and say, hey, listen, one of the things we're starting is we want to help create a memory of you being here at the lake. It's kind of a special place. It's a destination spot. Could you sign this canvas and date it? And part of when they deliver the bill is they have people sign the canvas, and now you have these canvases all over. If you've ever been into some of the restaurants in Hollywood where they have the caricatures of the people, now imagine if people go, they brought me this thing and I signed the canvas. Imagine if you had everybody sign with a red pen because the restaurant's name is Heart. Now that doesn't take it, right? That doesn't take anything. Hey, listen, could you just sign it and date it? And then you hang it back up on the wall. And people are like, what are all these things? Oh, that comes to you when we deliver the thank you. We ask you to sign and become a part of the restaurant. You're part of the founding members of our restaurant. You're part of the reason why we're successful, and you're the people we serve. And we always want to remember, we want to be able to look at the signatures and say, these are the people that we take care of. Isn't that operating from the heart? I mean, that's like a no-brainer.
I actually see that vividly as you're kind of building the picture for me.
Yep.
I really see that like extremely vividly. Like it's intense. I just got goosebumps. I mean, I can see it.
Now you want to have some real fun?
Yeah.
You can get dry erase markers and have people sign the windows and then clean them.
I don't know about that.
Just think about it. Just think about it. It's something to think about. You can pick one window, that door behind you, sign it. But the key is you want people to come there for some other reason than the reason they're coming there. Novelty. It's no shocker. It's good food. It's supposed to be good food. It couldn't exist if it wasn't good. So what's the other thing that they come for? What's the novelty?
Well, this makes a lot of sense because it is the big heart, and we want you to feel
Really?
welcoming here.
No. Wow,
We
what
want
a
you,
stroke of luck for me
uh,
to come up with those ideas.
yeah. It's purely. I mean,
Man, even a broke clock is right twice a day. So this is one of my twice.
yeah.
See what
We have a
see what
saying.
happened? See the wheels that are starting to turn now for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you could implement that today. You could literally pin a piece of paper and you could be the first one that signs it in your fascinating signature that nobody can read. But you want people to come in and say, I was here. There's my signature. There's a signature from here. There's a signature from there. And those people who are signing a couple of times, they go up on the wall of fame.
Great conversation today. Smart ass. Sorry about that. Just had a cough run up on me.
Yeah, I hear you. That's all.
Seriously, thank you. That this was another masterclass in the books, both business and personal. So thank you.
Love it. Appreciate you. Hey, Raj, got your hand up, brother. And then we're wrapping up. You can see how excited I get about talking about business and growth, and it's always the same thing. It's always about a story. So good.
Great day, Sean.
Hey, great day, brother.
I just wanted to say that I had an awareness the other day that you're at such a level, well, not such a level, that you're at such a point where like the only way you could do this stuff is if you want somebody to be better than you. I was like, dang. And when I had that awareness, oh man, my heart just sunk. Sean, I was just so grateful to have you in my circle in my life. That's all I have to say.
I love it. So now the next question is what are you doing to become better than me?
Using the tools with my family.
Okay. So you're being the best version of you, because that's how you become better than me, is you become the best version of you. You can't become me. So when I ask you to become better than me, stop attempting to be me and be the best version of you. This is where you have to stand up and say, I'm worthy. Because you can be a great student. I have many great students. I don't want great students. I want to mentor you to do things you didn't know you could do. I don't want great students. I don't want a following. I want people who can come, say, got it, and it triggers a vibration in them. That's a new fire, and they take off and they go on their own. When people leave here, it's not because they're like, well, screw this, this didn't work. It's, I'm ready. I'm ready to take my baby steps on my own. And then what happens is that after a couple of years, they may need to sharpen their tool and they show back up. Ah, it's outstanding. But if I was the same as when they left, I couldn't serve them when they come back. Too many people, when their teams leave, stay the same. And so they repeat it. Listen, my first year, $80,000, my first year in debt. I thought it would be good not to repeat that. So I got better and people came back and they stayed. The people that came back that I enrolled the first time, who, because of my fascinating screw ups, quit, when they came back the second time, 25 years later, are still in network marketing. They never left the profession. They left before because I was a jackrabbit on speed. Once I realized they're volunteers, and if I allow, and I still mentor them today in the businesses they're in, traditional and or otherwise, but they're still in some form of gig business, and that's because they understand the power of it. So go be the best version of you. Who do you become when you become the best version of you? The you that asks the question can't be the same one that answers it. The you that became aware of you helping people become better than you isn't the same person who became aware of it. You've now stepped into this new understanding. You are now this version of that and working on it on a daily basis. Congratulations. It's not an easy road until it's easy. Bob Proctor would say, do it until you don't have to do it.
I love that you say that too.
Yep.
Thank you, brother.
Congratulations on the awareness. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All of this uncovering shame. Literally, it's all uncovering shame. We call it many things: procrastination, determination, perfectionism. I don't want to be selfish. It's all shame. If you live at your best version of you, are you not in the best place to serve more people, to give more, to have more? When you become wealthy, don't you have more to give? So you're not going to hoard this. You're going to find ways to give it away. Yes, you'll amass amount that you would never have to do anything again. Well, you will wind up doing more because you don't have to, you get to. This is your story. You're in the get to process. And soon as you step into the get to, you have more to get to. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling, get to your dream vision misfit. I'll see y'all where?
The next event.
At the next event, somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Gura Vida.
Pura vida, pure life. We love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us all.
Peace be with everyone. And the queen of helping you get to where you want faster than you thought possible, Jessie Lee Ward.
Boss Lee.
Boss Lee, we love you, girl. All right, everybody, in a little bit fluffy, flying around.
Gurgly, gurgly, gurgly.
Gurgly, gurgly. We love you, Fee. All right, everybody, go have some fun today. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.